at 6:30. So we're gonna drop him off to the airport and double back and do that.
And my older son is 15. It's early tonight.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the North Brunswick Township Board of Education regular public meeting, Wednesday, February 28th. Could we please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Ali,
Present.
Mr. Brockman,
Here.
Mr. Carter,
Here.
Ms. James, Ms. Keith,
Here.
Mr. Ligori,
Here.
Dr. Patel, Ms. Toth,
Here.
and Mr. Wen.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, 25 Linwood Place, North Brunswick, New Jersey, 08902. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, Sentinel, and the clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. We're going to motion to go into closed session, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presented exist, now therefore be it resolved by the North Brunswick Township Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: personnel matters, negotiations. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I please have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can go into closed session.
Thank you. Open session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're back in session.
Thank you. Ms. Keith, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, Madam President. I would like to move to approve the sidebar agreement between the North Brunswick Township Board of Education and the North Brunswick Township Education Association for the 22 to 24 contract relative to Article 11A.8.
Second.
All right, I'm going to take a roll call. Mr. Ali,
Yes.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Carter.
Yes.
Ms. James.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe.
Yes.
Mr. Legori.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
And Mr. Wen.
Yes.
The motion is accepted.
Thank you. All right, welcome everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. We have a couple of presentations tonight. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Chiroka to open up our first presentation.
Thank you very much. We have a full house, and we're thrilled to have everybody here. Thank you for being patient. But we do have to take some business and make sure that we do everything that the state of New Jersey requires that we do. So I'd like to invite our auditor from Samuel Klein and Company, Mr. Gerald Stankiewicz, to come up and give his brief, I promise. I've given him a challenge, his brief audit summary for us tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. You all know who I am, Jerry Stankiewicz. I'm a partner in Samuel Klein and Company. We are appointed by the board to perform the financial audit for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023. Okay. The audit is done based on the records that are presented from the management team, with whom we're sitting on the dais, okay, and the business office. Our contract requires us, and the standards of the profession require us to go through testing and procedures of various components that make up your financial transaction for the year, as well as the resultant fund balance at the end of the year. So
Use the microphone.
basically, our work was really conducted from, our work was conducted starting in October. We did a lot of the accounting work in October, and looking to the deadline of August 5th to submit the electronic version of the audit, which was preliminary. Shortly thereafter, we started our testing of the expenditures, the revenues, and the payroll. We're happy to report that we have all good results in all the areas of testing. There was an exit conference held last Wednesday evening in the next room over there to discuss in real detail what we did and the procedures that we employ, and to go through the process of looking at the various audit exhibits, which we've discussed with the committee at length. So we're happy to report that based on our audit testing, there are no audit recommendations or comments that would require the board to adopt a corrective action plan. They have a good system here. There's good people working in the departments. We want to thank them for their hard work. Everybody was cooperative. Anytime we needed a document, they produced it timely, which is important in an audit. We also prepare a document, the thinner of the two, which I think you emailed to everyone, correct? Okay. This is our representation to the board about the operation of the business office during the fiscal year. We found nothing that would rise to the level, as I indicated earlier, that would require the board to adopt a corrective plan of action to correct that. Expenditures were properly documented, payroll was properly administered, food service was properly run. We believe we look at certain grants, and we felt that they were a cursory review of what we do, not a detailed review of the grants. Pretty much compliance with all the requirements that the Department of Ed has. And most important, your bank accounts are reconciled monthly to the penny. Okay, you have a $150 million operation here, and they are reconciled to the penny monthly to the general ledger. Okay, that's important. So there's a thicker of the two documents, okay, which is really a whole lot of financial information that is generated by the board through the various reports that we get from them. We merely put it into report format. Okay, it talks a lot about North Brunswick, about the operation of the school district. There is some local town information in there, but it also has a section where the board and the administration has an opportunity to toot their horn about what happened in the district during the year, and where the goals of the district are. So, but in this document, the only thing that belongs to us is our opinion. We're hired, like I said, by the board. We do our tests based on management giving us information, and our opinion is that the financial statements as presented to us fairly present the financial condition of the district for the year ended June 30th of '23, okay? Our job is not to say that you're in great financial shape, because that's not the purpose of the audit, but it's to tell you that your records that are presented are accurate, okay? And that's really the purpose of it. And what that means during the year, and right around now, I believe you might be receiving updates about where we may end up at the end of June of '24. If Rose's information that she's always given us is pretty darn accurate as presented, okay? You hear sometimes that people talk about, oh, we have a lot of audit journal entries. You don't have any audit journal entries, okay? So everything is presented properly. So we're happy to report that there are no audit recommendations and you have an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, and meaning that the records as presented were presented fairly and properly. So,
Nice job, Jerry.
was that Reader's Digest enough?
That was very good.
And actually, I've never had one of people show up to hear the audit presentation. This is real nice, so. Now, if there's any questions, obviously, I don't know if you want to entertain tonight, but any audit type questions could be relayed and through the administration. We're happy to answer them. But like I said, you have a good accounting system here, okay? And it didn't happen overnight, and it is the result of a lot of people, some of whom probably should receive an award as well tonight, okay? So, you know, it just was a lot of people working hard between payroll, accounts payable, bill paying, revenue, everything, all the compliance stuff. So we're happy to present this and commend the board on a good audit.
Great, thank you very much,
Thank
Jerry.
you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We will proceed with the meeting, Madam
Yes.
President. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you
Okay.
to your team and for all their hard work. We really
Okay.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'll open it up to public comment for the audit presentation. If there is anyone that would like to speak on it. Okay, seeing none. Mr. Liguori, can you please take item number 9?
Sure, Madam President, I move to close the public portion of the meeting related to the audit.
Second.
I'm sorry, I did not hear the second.
Mr. Carter.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This portion of the meeting is closed.
Thank you. Vice President James, will you please take item number 10?
Surely, President Tove, I would like to make a motion to accept the annual comprehensive financial report for the School District of North Brunswick Township for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, and the accompanying auditor's management report on the administrative funding, financial compliance, and performance, also for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. This also includes a system peer review report conducted on Samuel Klein & Company.
Second.
I'm going to take a roll call. Mr. Ali,
Yes.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Ms. James.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Dr. Patel.
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Mr. Wen.
Yes.
The audit report has been accepted.
Thank you. All right. We will move on to presentation number 2. Miss Amy Kita, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, I'm Amy Keita. I'm the Assistant Superintendent here in North Brunswick, and I am so excited. I always get to perform. I'm like looking at the slide, I'm like, I always get to
The dance number
present
coming up.
for our annual Governor's Educator of the Year Awards and our Education Support Staff Person of the Year Award. I'm thrilled that everybody showed up tonight, family, friends. This is such a great honor for our recipients. And I actually said to Mrs. Shiroka today, again, for those of you that don't know me or only know me as the Assistant Superintendent, I'm North Brunswick born and bred. I'm a graduate. I taught here. I taught at Linwood and was Linwood Middle School for 12 years before becoming an administrator 11 years ago. And this marks the 20th year that I was the Governor Educator of the Year Award at Linwood. And I thought, oh my gosh, 20 years. It really is so special to me to be able to recognize this fine staff to the board tonight and to all of you. So we will get rolling with our presentation. And again, you know, our theme this year is superstars, because that's really what all of you are day in and day out. And we could not be more proud to have you on our staff and to recognize you and honor you tonight. Just, to give a little bit of background for those that don't know, this is a process that starts in September. The Governor's Educator of the Year award does come from the State of New Jersey Department of Education. It starts in September. It's a 2-3-month process that principals, have a special nomination form. They put together a diverse panel. They have program guidelines they have to follow and have to select their Educator of the Year by the end of November. And it just gives you some brief indicators. By December, they do have to upload this form to the Department of Ed, and the principals do notify their school certificated candidate at a designated faculty meeting, and the state actually does prompt them to then reach out to the Educators of the Year, encourage them to apply for the County Teacher of the Year. And if you remember last year, we had our high school Teacher of the Year. Julie Mercier was the Middlesex County Teacher of the Year. So again, this award is, heartfelt for me, but means a lot to this district, and, again, you all are superstars. 2020, Beth? I think so. This is our 4th year where Beth Pasner, our president of the MBTEA, came to myself and former Superintendent Dr. Zakowski and, brought this Education Support Staff Person of the Year program to mirror the Governor Educator of the Year program for our support staff, because truly it does take a village. And our support staff are equally as important to the education and the foundation of our district as our certificated staff. And we were 1,000% on board with this program. So we decided to mirror it the same way we mirror the state program, where the same panel is used, stakeholders all have input to nominate and decide on a support staff person of the year for each building. So without further ado, I'd like to call up Mr. Michael Neller. We'll get rolling with our high school support person of the staff person of the year and our teacher of the year. And if they can also come up, Sue and Jet.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to congratulate all of the Teachers of the Year and Support People of the Year for all of the schools. I usually go last, so.
You decided to change it up this year.
Yes, surprise me again.
Surprises, though.
So it's my pleasure tonight first to speak about our Educational Support Person of the Year at MBTHS. Sue Baldini is my secretary, although I did not nominate her because I'm on the committee and I cannot. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have. But Sue's been in this position for about 1.5 years as my secretary. And probably the best adjective that was used to describe her, and it's not so much an adjective, a description, that the building would collapse without her working every day. She makes sure all of our classes are covered and serves as the first line of parent communication. Every morning she comes in, and I know for a fact that she starts well before her reporting time at 6:30 in looking at the sub-report, making sure we have substitute teachers, and then if she has to, coming in and begging and pleading staff members to cover classes. And they like her so much that they do it every day for her. She has one of the most challenging jobs in the building. She starts, as I said, she starts well before her 6:30 reporting time. And she always does it with a smile on her face. She attempts to raise full spirit through constantly asking me for Jeans days. But also sending out positive and fun emails, and is diligent in getting things out in a timely manner. She is a happy face in the main office, and she is very efficient at her job. She is a model community member, and she supports our students at after-school events. Even though her children are grown adults, she still supports our students at the high school almost every day. And she is an extremely generous person, and I am very lucky to have her working with me in the main office. I am. Next, I would like to congratulate our Teacher of the Year, Mr. Jeff Smith. Jeff is a music teacher at the high school, and he is our marching band director. And he has been a great addition to the high school. Jeff has the positive energy in the classroom that attracts students to his course. Extremely dedicated to his students by creating a comfortable learning environment. He builds great rapport with his students that lasts well beyond their graduation. When we say that our music program is a family, we mean it, because our alumni are constantly coming back to support our music program, and Jeff is a big part of that. He has been the pit director for our Alchemist performances for the last 6 years. He's always willing to help out beyond his responsibilities, helping with rehearsals and auditions. When he's not at MBTHS, you can find him at our marching band events. And they have a very long season in the fall, and then they pick up again in the spring and the summer. And he is continually working with our students to make our marching band better. He's constantly at their shows to make sure that they have the chance to show off their talents to the entire North Brunswick community. He is continually growing as an educator, learning more genres of music and sharing them with his colleagues in the department to help them grow professionally as well. He is always willing to support his colleagues. And last year, when tragedy struck the department due to the sudden loss of a colleague, he was a great support not only to the person's family, but also his colleagues and especially our students. I would like to congratulate Mr. Jeff Smith and the THS team.
And I'm not going to unbox each one, but I do want to show each support staff person of the year has their own plaque.
I know.
See? And then teacher of the year is an apple clock.
Oh, so
You can't hang it. I'll box it back up for you. Okay, wanted everybody to see what they did. No? I got a free box. Skip. Do you need to reload? Well, we'll fix that. There.
There it is.
No, John Adams is after MBTHS.
All right,
I
I
can
don't
jump.
know what.
I can jump ahead.
We'll call up Mr. Slover. Mr. Slover from the middle school.
This is good news because I know if Mike goes first, that means I go second. I've been lobbying for that for years. Anyway, I'd like to invite up Mrs. Denise McNamara, our educator of the year. And I don't believe our support person of the year is here tonight, which is kind of not a surprise. She's not one for the spotlight, but Mary Rosano, if you're here. First, a few words about Mary, and we were asked to submit a few words, which you can see on the screen behind you. And when I thought of Mary, I thought of steady, supportive, and thinks ahead. Mary, as I said, is our plant manager, and Mary is always steady and calm, and she gets things done. And with Mary on board, when it comes to our facility, I literally worry about nothing. Smoothly and efficiently, she gets things done. I also said she's supportive, and whether it's for myself, a teacher, a club, or a special event, Mary will always do whatever she can to accommodate the needs of our staff and students, often going over and above the norm. And finally, I said that she thinks ahead. I never approach Mary with an idea, a question, or a concern that she isn't already 3 steps ahead of me, no matter what it is. If I see her in the hallway and say, "Hey, Mayor, what happened with this?" And she's like, "Oh, we took care of it 2 days ago." Or, "What about this issue? We called, they're coming next week." She's always ahead. And then you really can't beat that. It is these traits that Mary brings to the table that, quite frankly, make everyone else's job easier. And I don't know that there's a higher compliment than that. Mary makes everyone's day easier. And that's a gift. Absolutely. Mary Passau. Ready? And now for our Governor's Educator of the Year, Mrs. Denise McNamara. My 3 terms for Denise were dynamic, precise, and standard, which might sound odd, but I'll explain. I said dynamic because Denise is a passionate teacher with a tremendous work ethic and a huge heart. Her lessons are engaging and enjoyable for her students, and she runs an exemplary class that students want to be in. I use the word precise because Denise continues to wear many hats in our school community. She has advised clubs, facilitated parent academies, and she has been instrumental in orchestrating our annual spelling bee. It's no joke if you've never been to that. It gets a little dicey those final couple rounds, let me tell you. Further, she is a teacher leader among our staff as an ELA subject area leader. And in all of these endeavors, she is always right on point and unfailingly precise. Finally, standard, as in the standard. She is the standard that a middle school teacher should be striving to emulate. She is the standard that a colleague should aspire to be. Denise sets the bar high for herself and others, and she reaches it. Our entire school community is so fortunate to have Denise, and it is a joy and a privilege to watch her work and do what she does, and we're all better off for it. Now, Denise and I share a love of the New York Yankees, so I will end with this. You knew I was going. I would never compare myself to Joe Torre. But I think I know how he must have felt to know that no matter the situation, when he looked out on the field, he knew Derek Jeter was there. At MBTMS, no matter the situation, we've got Denise McNamara. You can't do any better than that.
For Linwood, invite Mr. Shorter up, and our Educator of the Year, Nicole Latore, and our Sports Staff Person of the Year, Julie Francis.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say, first of all, congratulations to all the Educators of the Year and support persons. We are blessed at Linwood School to have 2 of the best here. 2 of the best. My vision is bad, so you can't read what that says up there. But I am going to read to you what their colleagues wrote about them. And I think that is really special when you have people who work with you day in and day out, write things about you. So here we go. The first is going to go for Julie Francis. Julie is the backbone of the House Center. She is knowledgeable, kind, and a problem solver, and I would definitely attest to that. We have issues in the main office regarding printing up reports, and we can always go to Julie Francis. She takes the time to make relationships with both staff and students. She goes above and beyond her duties, and she's been awesome to me my entire career. So I'd like to congratulate Julie Francis as Linwood School's Support Person of the Year. Thank you, Julie. Next is Nicole Latore. Now, Nicole and I think we came around the same time. So I've known Nicole, this is my 20th year, so it's been a long time with us in the district. So this is what her colleagues wrote about her. Nicole exudes professionalism, dedication, and empathy to all students and coworkers. She is a trusted colleague that staff confide in and seek guidance from, and I can also agree with that. She was a subject area leader for a long time and did a great job in helping us come up. She's always welcoming and helpful, and it's just awesome to see her in the hallways. I'm kind of stickler about certain rules about teachers being in the hallway to make sure they're supervising students and staff, and I can always count on Nicole Latore being in that hallway when I come around the corner, and I truly do appreciate that. So I'd like to say congratulations to you, Nicole Latore, as Linwood Schools Educator of the Year.
Next up, I'd like to call up our administrators from John Adams. I see Mrs. Kingsley, Mrs. Stern, Mrs. Cummings, come on up. Let's also invite Maria and Corinne up as well.
Good evening, everybody. As Mrs. Keita said, I am Ann Kingsley, principal. This is Mrs. Stern, the director, and Mrs. Cummings, our dean. But most importantly, these are our special people we are here to congratulate and just say wonderful things about. So I'm going to begin. You know what? I'll begin with you, Maria. You want to sit next to me? Maria Canuni is John Adams Educator Support Person of the Year. And she's been working in the district for 10 years, and we have been lucky enough to have her at John Adams for 8 of those 10 years. A little bit of an aside, she was transferred to a different school, I don't know, like about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I lost my mind, and I'm just going to leave it at she's back at John Adams now. I'm very, very happy. She is an amazing, she's one of our security aides. You know, so yeah, she invited the people sign in, she's nice to everybody that comes in, but that's just literally this much of what she has to do. Not has to do, I take that back, what she does, because she does many, many things. She checks the people that come in, she makes sure the building is safe, all those things that she's supposed to do, but she does a lot of other things. For example, she supports our staff by unjamming the copiers. That is a big deal. Thank you, Isaiah. That is if you're a teacher, you know that is a very big deal, right? Sometimes people send down a piece of paper and say, can we just make 10 copies of this, please? She does that also. She reminds teachers about that they haven't submitted their attendance, gently, politely reminds them that they haven't submitted their attendance, and she also does all of our laminating, and she's the only one allowed to touch the laminating. Because that laminating stuff costs a lot of money, all right? She, every single day, arrives at school earlier than she has to be there and stays later than she has to stay. I like to think it's because she likes me so much, but I really know she's just very, very dedicated to her job, and I'm so happy. Most importantly, Maria is friendly, kind, and hardworking. She's a wonderful member of the John Adams staff. And, oh, I feel a little cry coming on. We are so, so lucky to have her at our school. Congratulations. Corinne loves being in the spotlight, right? So Corinne is the John Adams Governor Educator of the Year. She was hired 9 years ago, and she initially worked as a first grade teacher, but more recently, she has become our technology teacher. For old people like me, that's the computer teacher, but we don't say that. She's a technology teacher. And when you hear what she does, you'll realize why we don't call her the computer teacher, because she's not, all right? She, just like when she taught first grade, she works hard to stay up on, and I mean really works hard to stay up on everything. This lady goes to more professional development than, I don't know, I eat candy, and I eat a lot of candy. She's busy all the time. She has created a welcoming, inclusive, the inclusive part is very important. She really does love every one of her students, and most of the staff, I guess, right? I think she loves all the staff too, right? She produces, and I mean produces, like a television producer, our morning announcements. They are amazing. She started a Girls Who Code Club, which is just amazing. She teaches our robotics program after school. You see why it's not, I didn't even said the word computer, right? She's doing all these amazing technological kind of things. And although she's not the tech ambassador, we do have a tech ambassador, but sometimes she's busy teaching the tech ambassador, and guess who does the job if she can do it for us? So she's wonderful at helping people out. She does not teach just an old-fashioned computer class. If you came in her room, you would see that they do practice keyboarding, but it's not just that. It isn't just that. She's hardworking, she is innovative, and most importantly, she cares, which is so important to me, about her students. She is an educator who motivates them every single day. I'm so proud to have Corinne in our school. Congratulations, Corinne.
From Judd, we have Dr. Glover, acting principal, our interim director of elementary instruction, Mrs. Alderman, our interim dean, Ms. Green, and I'd like to call up our Judd recipients, Ernie and Melanie.
Hello. Welcome. I'm Dr. Glover, the acting principal of Judd, and I'm honored to be here to present this to our two outstanding representatives. You met first, Melanie. Melanie is a truly deserving of the Educational Support Staff Recognition Award. She serves as a pre-K paraprofessional. She took on the responsibility this year of leading our pre-K classroom when we were without a teacher. Faced with the challenge of stepping into that role, she led as if she was the teacher. She demonstrated exceptional dedication to ensuring her students continue to receive the high quality instruction in the absence of their regular teacher. Ms. Costa's commitment was evident as she arrived early every day to set up her classroom, decorated just as if she were the classroom teacher, and established essential routines for all of her students. Her efforts extended beyond regular work hours, often staying late to meticulously prepare for the following day's lessons. Her comprehensive understanding of the curriculum, combined with her hard-working nature, kindness, and compassionate demeanor, sets her apart as an invaluable member of our educational staff. What makes Melanie truly exceptional is her unwavering drive and passion to guarantee the happiness and success of her students. Her constant presence with a smile, as she is right now, on her face has endeared her students, staff, and parents alike. Melanie's contributions make her a standout candidate for the Educational Support Staff Recognition Award, and she is truly deserving. Congratulations. stands as a highly deserving candidate for the prestigious Governor's Education of the Year Award. He is a committed and passionate educator who possesses the ability to inspire students from diverse backgrounds. Specializing in teaching language arts, he has dedicated his efforts as teaching 5th grade and now 4th grade students. And beyond fostering a love for reading and writing, Ernie demonstrates an exceptional commitment to supporting the social and emotional well-being of his students. Known for his patience, Ernie actively assists students in navigating the challenges that may arise during the school day. He was confronted with a challenging case, and he took the initiative to undergo the NCI training this past year, showcasing his dedication to enhancing his skills in de-escalating situations involving students in need. The positive impact of his teaching is evident as former students frequently return to Judd, specifically to reconnect with Ernie. His genuine and personal approach is evident in the way that he greets each student every day, creating a warm and welcoming atmosphere. Furthermore, his enthusiastic support for Spirit Days contributes to the vibrant and engaging school community. Now, I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but beyond his role as an educator, Ernie is a talented musician. He looks surprised. I'm surprised he doesn't have his ukulele today. He often treats students to delightful sounds of his guitar and singing during dismissal, and his multifaceted contributions make him an exemplary candidate for the Governor's Educator of the Year Award.
We'd like to call up our Livingston Park administrators, Mrs. Finnegan, Mrs. Morey, and our Governor's Teacher of the Year, Jillian Rice, and our Education Support Staff Person of the Year, Ms.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, congratulations. I have a few lovely words to say about these ladies. Ms. Rice, I'm going to start with you. Ms. Rice is a special education teacher of our multiple disabilities program with students of different ages and needs. You will know that Ms. Rice is ready for work with her messy bun on the top of her head and her lanyard full of 800 social stories that she might need at any moment. She demonstrates exceptional dedication, empathy, and skill in catering to the unique needs of our students with disabilities. She advocates for the rights and needs of these students. Ms. Rice works closely with parents, administrators, and case managers to ensure the students receive the resources and support they require. She helps her students access school like every student, and designs events for our school to become more aware of differences. Ms. Rice demonstrates empathy, understanding, and recognizes the challenges her students face. She celebrates their strengths and their achievements. She actively collaborates with colleagues, therapists, and other professionals to create comprehensive support systems for her special ed students. For example, she taught the Project Leo and Right Ed school staff strategies for working with our students. She engages in continuous professional development to stay updated on the latest research and best practices, but she also delivers professional development to our staff here. Ms. Rice has a profound positive impact on the lives of her students, empowering them to reach their full potential and succeed academically, socially, and emotionally. She serves as a role model, not only for her students, but also for her fellow educators, inspiring others to embrace inclusive practices and cultivate a culture of acceptance. Congratulations to Ms. Rice. We are so lucky to have you. Miss Mills. Miss Mills is an instructional aide also in a special education classroom. Her class this year is comprised of students with multiple disabilities of various ages. However, her assignment has frequently changed over the years, and she has excelled in every placement. Mrs. Mills plays a crucial role in ensuring the success and well-being of students with disabilities. She provides direct support to special education students, offering assistance with tasks such as personal care, mobility, communication, and learning activities. She cultivates strong, positive relationships with her students, fostering trust, confidence, and a sense of belonging. By understanding each student's unique abilities, challenges, and preferences, Mrs. Mills can provide more effective support and encouragement. She provides a safe and nurturing environment where students feel accepted, valued, and empowered to express themselves. Through her dedication, compassion, and expertise, Mrs. Mills helps students overcome obstacles, achieve their goals, and thrive, both inside and outside the classroom. Congratulations to Mrs. Mills as our educational support.
Call up Parsons, Mrs. Whalen, see Mrs. Quattrocki here, our principal and our director of elementary instruction, and our educator of the year at Parsons, Jennifer Guzio, and is Anna, oh, she's here, our education
Good evening. I'd like to congratulate all of our award recipients this evening. And I'd like to start with Miss Anna Paranchke. She is our building aide at Parsons School. I'd like to share some comments that our staff had made for each of our award recipients, because I think that's a lot more important than just what they know that I think about them. So Miss Anna, as I said, serves as our building aide. She always has a positive attitude and a smile, even when she's outside manning the gate, in the rain, in the snow, as parents are pulling up, not following the directions as she's telling them as they're coming, but she's always got that smile going. She exudes warmth and love, and many students go to her when they need the comfort of someone who generally cares for them. Her flexibility and warmth are appreciated by students, staff, and parents. She always stops what she's doing and assists in any way possible. She has even taken the personal initiative to teach herself Spanish to better connect with and serve the Parsons community. She is selfless in all that she does, and Parsons is lucky to have her. I'm honored to present her with this very deserving award. Congratulations. Okay, next we have Mrs. Guzio as our Governor's Educator of the Year. Ms. Guzio is an exemplary educator. She serves as our technology teacher, but that's just one facet of what she does. She is also our technology ambassador. She teaches our robotics club, and she is the director of our Parsons News show that puts any channel's news to shame. She's absolutely phenomenal with it. She does our news show every day with our students in both English and Spanish to serve our Parsons community. So what has her staff said about Ms. Guzio? She's innovative, dedicated, and passionate about her students and our school. She started our dual language program 7 years ago, but while no longer teaching that, she is still an advocate and a resource for our dual language staff. She's a natural leader in our school, often initiating new programs and initiatives to improve the academic excellence and cultural inclusivity in our building. She collaborates effectively with all stakeholders and is always willing to share resources to build capacity in our staff and our students. She's an active member in our extracurricular activities and engages the community to support events at our school. Mrs. Guzio is a tremendous asset to Parsons School, and I'm very honored to present her with this award.
From our ECC, we have our principal, Mr. Pasner, and our supervisor of preschool instruction, we have Ms. Carrie-Ann Egan-Ragavans.
Can I please have Stephanie Palco and Meredith Thorne please join us up here. If Adam wants to come up, he's more than welcome. Well, first off, I just want to take the moment to congratulate all the winners. And, you know, this is one of my favorite nights because we're fortunate to celebrate the amazing success in our school district. We are so lucky to have such a supportive Board of Education, such a supportive central office leadership, and just such support from our staff, our community. And tonight is a chance to celebrate success. And we saved the best for last. Now, as Mr. Neller said, usually I go first and he goes last. So tonight, I guess I'm a little more nervous based on that. No, I'm joking. So first I want to start about Stephanie Palco. First off, we are so fortunate to have Stephanie working in our building as an instructional aide in a special education program. And just like Mrs. Whalen shared, I like to take the words of our staff because that who sees in action each and every day. When people discuss and talk about Stephanie, they talk about kindness. Her hard-working demeanor each and every day, no matter what's happening within the building. She's a team player that's always willing to rise herself to the challenge and support people in any way that she can, both students, staff, and the community at large. She's an active member of all of our outside activities when we do events and always shows up and has such a great connection with our students. The relationship she builds with students each and every day is a model for everyone. I could say personally, I'm so fortunate. When I first met Stephanie, she was a substitute paraprofessional at the ECC. And when I got to work with her and I said, Stephanie, we need you on our team. And I really wouldn't take no for an answer. So I know I asked multiple times, but dedication, just like her persistence, her hard work, her caring nature, we cannot be more fortunate to have Stephanie at the ECC. Congratulations. Mrs. Thorne, we are so proud of you. And Mrs. Thorne also is a special education teacher in our preschool program. And we are so fortunate to have such a great teacher leader as Meredith. Again, bringing the words from her colleagues, dedicated, caring, innovative, team player, hardworking. She's a lifelong learner, always striving to improve her practice. But the key thing I see each and every day is the ability for Meredith to meet the individual needs of each and every student that she comes in contact with. No matter what the student needs, Meredith works to meet their needs, support them, and help them grow. As a parent, watching her welcome students into our school district, we always talk about the relationship in preschool where we have the ability to welcome families. Her support, dedication, communication, collaboration with parents makes them feel like they have an advocate from the day they first walk into their building for their children. She makes them feel special. We are so fortunate to have Meredith Thorne at the ECC. Congratulations on the Educator of the Year at the North Brunswick Township.
Well, surprise, Mr. Neller and Mr. Pasner, I'm last. Again, you know, we do recognize us, obviously, in our schools, but one integral piece of our district is also our Board of Education. And each year, when we brought on board the Education Support Staff Person of the Year, Beth also recognized that we have one for the district as well. So we each year have been recognizing a member of our Board of Ed team, and I'm happy to call up one of our Human Resources Secretaries, Connie Saunders. And I'm the administrator who will speak. Go way back. Just like Mr. Neller said, you know, I'm part of that committee, so the nomination did not come from me, but I couldn't think of a person who I actually have known for over 20 years who is so dedicated and hardworking to this district as Connie. You know, it's personal for me too. I'm gonna keep it together. I've known Connie for a long time. I first met her. She is a community member. I met her. She was the parent of one of my students. Who's now getting married, makes me feel like I'm very old, but and then she she came back to the district, she became a substitute teacher. She actually was one of my go-to subs as well. So hardworking and dedicated, I could just leave my classroom with her and I knew it was in great hands. In fact, if I knew I was gonna be absent, I texted her right away. And then I left the classroom, moved over to central office. A couple years later, she left subbing for the district and came up as our receptionist. In the board office, where she proved herself time and time again. She is extremely hardworking. She's up to any task or challenge. She was the face when you walked in the door, so helpful to anybody who'd call. And again, that first line, who's going to pick up the phone when you call the district and the superintendent's office, was Connie. We were lucky a few years ago to have a position open in our Human Resources office, and she is now a confidential secretary in our personnel department, and we could not be more proud of you for this award. Again, there are so many different adjectives that I could use to describe Connie, but helpful is at the top of the list. You are extremely personable, and in terms of helping us out day to day, monitoring the attendance of 1,000-person staff is not easy by any stretch of imagination, and you do it with such ease. You know, we talk about our certificated staff, and I heard it time and time again tonight, that our staff are looking for new challenges. They're not afraid to grow and learn. Time and time again, Connie has always said, what can I learn? What can I do better? What can I do to help? And that is your personality, that is true. That's not about the job, it's because you want to grow as a professional. And you help us out time and time again. And all the people sitting here, especially the administrators, call you pretty much they're all shaking their heads, call you every day, and you are more than happy to assist them. In fact, you know, you come in, you're the first one in, because the high school has Zeus there at 6:30 in the morning, and you're there to assist no matter what. And people who nominated you, you truly deserve this, and the words speak for themselves. You are supportive, you are helpful, you are kind, you are up to any challenge and task, and especially for me as one of my right hands in our office, you're also like my mama bear, and you keep me grounded, and truly you are so deserving this award, and I could not be happier or more proud. We'll pose differently. Thank you everybody so much to all of you. Again, your dedication and your hard work in our district are so very much appreciated. time and time again, you rise to the challenges. You are our superstars, and we are so excited to continue celebrating you. There will be, we do an annual luncheon in late May, early June that we look forward to having you all there and recognizing you again. And I'd be remiss not to also thank Janine Kerchevsky, who's in our office, who helped put together this presentation. I'd also like to thank Sandy Pedersen from our curriculum office, who coordinates all the awards. And I'd like to thank Connie, who also helped me put together tonight's presentation and awards. Thank you all for coming so much. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you, Mrs. Kita. I think we'll let everybody take a minute to leave, and then we'll continue the meeting.
Yeah, it was crawling around. So I was
I'm gonna tell people in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And then yeah, right.
Starting that chair.
Thank you all for being here tonight. The board congratulates all of our educators and support professionals. We do have our meeting to continue with, so we ask that you continue your celebrations in the hallway, and thank you all for coming.
All right, Mrs. Kita, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. It's very well done and very nicely organized. And again, we do thank our Teachers of the Year and our ESPs for all their hard work. That LP crowd. Yeah. They're always wild. All right, next on our agenda this evening, we have the annual Violence and Vandalism Report for reporting period 1. And if you would like to stay, you are more than welcome to stay and enjoy this next presentation. It is the Mrs. Kita Roadshow tonight. Worked out perfectly for that. But this is a mandated program report that we must give each year for the district. The state requires that we present this data twice a year. And so Amy will be presenting on reporting period 1, July 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. Mrs. Kita, you're back.
Mrs. Shiroka. As you know, in taking on the assistant superintendent role several years ago, as Mrs. Shiroka indicated, this is a required report that the district presents during different periods of the year. This is on our board agenda tonight, and instead of just reading through it, I do like to present context with the information, so which is why we choose to do a bigger presentation. Again, this chart is already in the board agenda for tonight, but we are required to compare reporting period 1, which, although it is from July 1st to December 31st, really it's only 4 months because school does not begin until September. Although we do have summer programs and we do follow those same HIB regulations and code of conduct, it is very rare that any of these numbers, in fact, none of them, in terms of the first few boxes, pertain to the summer. They do really start in September with the start of the school year. And we are required to compare them to the prior reporting period. So what you are seeing is the incidents in terms of violence and vandalism, HIB confirmed. Again, it does give you the incident description, but you can see we are down, which is a good thing, from the same period of time from the 22-23 school year, with 65 incidents recorded. Other incidents leading to removal, things such as tardy, cutting class, insubordination, disruptive behavior, academic integrity fall into what the state calls this category. And although our numbers are up there, it is important to remember we are still really committed to and focusing on absenteeism, which includes tardies. So especially we find that with the cutting of classes at the high school, middle school level, mostly at the high school. Although those numbers have risen since then, we also have more students who have been in our schools, and again, with that focus on attendance piece is why we're seeing more insubordination, those incidents being documented as well. HIB alleged, in terms of being founded, we are down from 34 in the first reporting period from 2022-23 to this reporting period for the 23-24 school year. What we are seeing, as you can tell here, is we are seeing, we have really taken on quite a proactive approach in our HIB training and HIB programs, which as the anti-bullying coordinator for the district, I lead the instructional deans, who are each school's anti-bullying specialists. Regardless of our own trainings that we do, we have been encouraging and promoting, and the board, with the board support, going out of district to trainings offered by the Law Center, offered by PSA, and we do a lot of our own internal trainings, which also include quarterly meetings that I have with the deans as well, aside from basic trainings within the district, PD development that we do with staff, and same thing with our HIB programs, our Week of Kindness, Anti-Violence Week, our PBSIS programs, all of that is included. As you can see, we have increased those, and that is why we believe we are starting to see a decrease in our HIB founded. With part of the new amended law last year, we now can see an HIB claim, and the specialist can decide preliminarily to proceed to open investigation, or if it doesn't already meet the definition on its surface, they can say not proceeding, and we did have 12 of those for the first 4 months. Again, it does tell you how those claims are found to be outside the scope of HIB, but again, supports for both alleged or founded offenders and victims continue to be overseen by the instructional deans and school counselors. These are all in the report as well. These are more specific to trainings, whether they were in district or out of district. So just wanted to highlight a few of those that we do, particularly in the first reporting period. And then other trainings related to student behaviors. Although not required to report that in this report by the state, I do like to highlight the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, first half of those, 6 of those, are ones that we do in district. Those are our after-school PD programs that our own staff and our own administrators present to our staff. The other ones are outside of district trainings that our deans and other staff members, counselors have attended. And then also listed in the board agenda are the list of HIB programs. Please, I know the elementary looks very long, but again, that is all 4 of our elementary schools, our preschool and Linwood School as well. And then the middle school and the high school. And again, we are required to report those programs out. We have a lot of HIB resources that are available. We did create an updated anti-bullying info site for parents that's on our website, a specific one for staff just related to HIB and school safety. HIB frequently asked questions. We revamped that for this year, and we include them in the letters that go home with the superintendent's letters. and also brochures for parents at the school as well. We have them in both English and Spanish. Links to our policy and links to other resources and guides are all available on our website and at each of our schools. And that is the reporting period 1 report.
Very nice job, Mrs. Kita. Very efficient. Any questions, board members? Okay, it's been a big focus this last year, obviously, post-pandemic, getting a hold of those numbers again and getting a focus on not just what is HIB, we know that we have to look at, something that may not rise to the occasion of being an HIB case, but it may be a violation of our code of conduct. And that can often be a very difficult thing for parents to get their head around and to understand that. And we've done a lot about educating parents and providing a simpler explanation for people, but also providing supports for those students who may be violating the code of conduct. That doesn't mean they're not getting consequences. So that's also an important thing to remember.
Thank you, Mrs. Shroka. One thing I do want to mention, again, not required part of the reporting, but part of the trends that we're seeing is, again, coming out of that pandemic, and why we do also attribute which we hope is a continual decrease in the HIV cases, is students, especially at the elementary level, they've been now in school enough out of the pandemic to be back in that school environment and their socialization with other students and some of those behaviors that we saw a huge rise in these cases when we first returned from the pandemic. And where we're seeing the least amount of cases is the elementary school and the upper grades of the high school. It's that middle grade focus still is where a lot of our efforts are, because that's where the most cases we've been seeing. And again, those students, we are, like I said, we're starting to see them coming out of that pandemic and being in school more and getting back used to those social cues. But again, a lot of our focus has been there. I mean, I can honestly tell you, I have at least one dean who hasn't had an HIV case in almost a year. And we're seeing that trend in terms of, the programs we're putting in place, but again, the students being back in a regular school environment again, and getting those supports, we hope are helping that trend to continue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Kita, for both of your presentations tonight. We greatly appreciate your time. All right, we will move on to item number 12. Mr. Wen, would you take item number 12?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following board minutes. Regular public meeting minutes, January 24, 2024. Executive minutes, January 24, 2024. Conference meeting minutes, January 10th, 2024. And conference meeting minutes, February 7th, 2024.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes are accepted.
Thank you. Any communications?
No communications tonight.
Old business or new business?
Nope, just
Okay.
my administrative report. Great. So good evening to all of our families, guests, and viewers here tonight. February has been a busy month for our schools, as schools celebrated Kindness Week and the 100th day of school, as well as many other events. As we head into March, schools have begun celebrating Read Across America Week, and I know our board members and myself and some of our administrative staff have been visiting schools and being able to read and interact with the students, which is a really fun week for all of us. We've also had many guests from throughout the community as well. In February, we also celebrated our school resource officers and our school counselors on special days to thank them for all they do to support our students. Parent-teacher conferences for the spring are scheduled for March 21st and 22nd. These are both half days for students, and your child's teacher will be reaching out to schedule a conference if one is needed. Congratulations to the boys bowling team for making it to the state finals on Tuesday, yesterday, against St. Peter's Prep at Bolero. See, I almost said it the wrong way. I always want to say it that way. The boys bowling individual state finals will take place tomorrow, Thursday, February 29th at Bolero. In addition, the wrestling individual state tournament begins on Thursday, February 29th in Atlantic City. And we have 3 female wrestlers attending that event. And finally, we have 2 pole vaulters competing in the meet of championships for track. We'd also like to congratulate the MBTHS Winter Percussion Ensemble for coming in first place at the Tournament Indoor Association competition on Saturday, February 10th. I'm also proud to announce that on February 27th, we had eight student athletes signed to continue their athletic careers at the college level on our official signing day. Students committed to Rutgers, Hofstra, Felician, Monmouth, Alvernia, Gettysburg, and William Patterson. Congratulations to all our student athletes. On this evening's agenda, you will see my recommendation to appoint Dr. Veronica Glover as principal of Judd School. With over 25 years of educational experience and a doctorate in education, Dr. Glover has always been a leader, collaborator, and mentor whose primary focus has been to help students make positive choices and to help teachers grow in their instruction. For many years, Dr. Glover has served as the Director of Elementary Instruction at Judd Elementary School. Not only has she led many school-wide initiatives, but behind the scenes, she has managed the building schedule, INRS process, curriculum revisions, teacher observations, onboarding new staff, and day-to-day safety operations. Her deep understanding of the school processes will help her make mid-year transition to principal seamless, and we are excited to see how Judd School continues to grow under her leadership. That is it for my report this evening, Madam President, and I do know that Dr. Glover is here. I don't know if we could invite her up,
Yes,
perhaps
please.
to say a few words, and so everybody can meet her officially.
Yeah, yep. Press the turn on, Ronnie.
Good evening. I'm pleased to formally accept this role of principal at Judd Elementary School. It's been a long-term goal of mine to be the principal. I'm happy to serve. Serving as the acting principal for the past 2 months has been an honor and a tremendous learning experience. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Superintendent Mrs. Shiroka, Assistant Superintendent Mrs. Kita, and the members of the board. I appreciate your unwavering support and guidance through this transitional period. Your trust in my abilities has been a source of inspiration, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to lead Judd into the next chapter of success. I would be remiss not to acknowledge the invaluable support and collaboration of my dedicated administrative team, Dominique Alderman and Genevieve Green. Together, we have worked diligently to uphold this school's mission and foster a positive learning environment. I'm committed to working collaboratively with each member of the school community to enhance the educational experience for our students, support our dedicated staff, and strengthen the ties that bind us as a school family. Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Glover. And that is it for my report.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our student reports. Good evening.
Hello. So on Friday, January 26th, SGO sponsored their annual talent show. We had 12 amazing acts showcase their talents.
And on that day, we also had our winter pep rally. We honored our winter athletes and classes competed for the Spirit Cup. After a close battle, the juniors were able to hold on to the Spirit Cup for another season.
NBTHS hosted our second TEDx youth event under the leadership of student Ria Patel. 4 speakers gave a thought-provoking speeches on their impact of technology in our lives.
This past Friday, February 23rd, our Black Cultural Alliance hosted a successful BCA night in celebration of Black History Month.
This coming Friday evening, MBTHS is hosting our annual Rockathon. This is the 39th year that the event will take place, and students this year will raise money for Hugs for Brady, the North Brunswick Food Bank, and the North Brunswick Domestic Violence Response Team.
Thank you, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. First, we'll start with Human Resources. Mr. Brockman?
Yes, Madam President. The Human Resource Committee, Community Relations Committee met on Wednesday, February 21st to discuss various personnel and community topics. For those on tonight's agenda who are either resigning or retiring, the board thanks them for their service and wishes them well. As of last Wednesday, there were teaching vacancies in the high school science, elementary bilingual, and special education, for which alternate route and traditional route teaching candidates are encouraged to apply. Support staff openings in transportation and buildings and grounds have also been posted, and the district continues to advertise for substitute staff vacancies. All openings are posted on our website and on social media. Our administrative team is preparing to attend 5 upcoming virtual job fairs as they continue to recruit staff. The first one is sponsored by the CJ Pride on March 21st, and any new or current educator interested in joining our team can register to participate. All registration information can be found on our website and social media pages. Ms. Kita and our coordinator of district communications, Dr. Ellis, will be launching a new staff recruitment video to promote the wonderful opportunities that NBT Schools has to offer. A special thank you to our staff members, Mr. Swain and Mr. Guzio, on our high school students in our TV production classes who have played an integral part of creating this video. There are also several new hires and substitute staff on the agenda, and we welcome them all to the district. We discussed any upcoming leaves of absences and how those positions are being filled, be it daily substitutes, long-term substitutes, or 6 teaching periods. We also discussed the process for interviewing and hiring newly posted administrative positions, and we look forward to those final candidates being named in the early spring. Ms. Kita provided an update regarding the NBTHS Hall of Fame. The committee is working on reviewing nominations and anticipates the selected inductees to be named in a few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Education, Dr. Patel?
Yeah, thank you. The Education Committee met on Wednesday, February 21st. On February 7th, we had a CUSAC visit and we discussed how the district performed well in all areas. Last week, testing for access for ELLs was conducted at the high school, and the window for transfer student closes on March 29, 2024. NJ GPA testing is on March 12th and 13th for the 11th graders, so there will be a delayed opening for grades 9, 10, and 12 to accommodate for the testing. AccuPlacer tests will be administered to current seniors who have not met the current placement requirements on March 6th and 7th. Few curriculum revisions have been made for ELA and math standards that have to be implemented by September 2024. Students in K-4 were tested in December 2023 for eligibility for SOAR. This was the 2nd year of testing. We briefly spoke about a few items which will be on the school budget for 2024 due to an increase in costs. And we also spoke about the McKinney-Vento status, and there's 47 students, which is higher than previous years. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Business operations, Mr. Liguori?
Thank you, Madam President. We also met on Wednesday, February 21st, and among the items we discussed, we briefly touched on CUSAC monitoring, in addition to the Education Committee, how they visited with us on February 7th. They visited the high school, the middle school, and Judd, with the final outcome still to be determined because it's still early in the overall process across the state. We were also visited by Jerry Stankiewicz, as you saw his presentation this evening, to discuss the audit findings. He educated us that the AudSum, which is the audit summary, was submitted on time on January 1st. The audit that he and his team performed included areas of payroll, expenditures, and revenues, which included taxes and state aid. As you heard, he issued an unmodified opinion, which is about as good as it gets, which means no recommendations in the auditor's management report. And we thank everybody from the business office, the superintendent, for your unwavering cooperation with the audit as you do every year. With regards to the ROD grant that we've been discussing, per some guidance from the School Development Authority, you'll see 3 resolutions on tonight's agenda. The first one to execute the agreement, the second to delegate authority to the BA to supervise the project, and then thirdly, there needs to be evidence that the district has available funds in cap reserve and putting that into a construction fund. Those appear on page 21, items 3J, 3K, and 3L this evening. We talked about a bit of an issue in our athletic area pertaining to a sewer issue in the boys' locker room that unfortunately spread into the boys' athletic area. We'll be filing a claim with our insurance company, and work will be done on that during spring break, but there's been no impact to our athletic teams. With regards to the high school and the middle school, also on tonight's agenda, you'll see a forensic envelope assessment from USA Architects on our agenda is item 3H on page 21 for $39,000. They will be investigating things like leaks, looking at our bricks, our flashing, etc. They'll look at the middle school for any bonding and warranties that may be applicable as well. With regard to our 3 to 5 year facilities plan, also on our agenda this evening is a facilities study report for $49,800. It's on page 21, item 3H. This will not include Maple Mead because there are no students utilizing that building. And there is an ongoing facilities inventory that's in progress. The principals are all assessing their needs at their buildings, and it'll preliminarily guide a long-range facilities plan in the near future. We talked about a demographic study again with Ross Haber and Associates, and tonight's agenda includes that motion on page 21, item 3G. Ross Haber and Associates is a local demographer. They've done demographic work in some nearby school districts as well. We began talking about, well, we've been talking about, but we talked more about the fiscal 25 budget assumptions and the timeline, which is coming upon us rather quickly. The governor's address was yesterday, and the long-awaited state aid numbers come out tomorrow. Fingers are crossed, and the governor indicated in his address that we should be fully funded according to the state's funding formula this year. Cautiously optimistic, we'll see numbers tomorrow, but our fingers are extremely crossed. The budget workshop for us is on March 13th. The budget is then due to the county the week after, and the final budget will be adopted on April 24th. We had some ongoing facilities updates at the high school, the recommissioning of the season 4 units. We're just waiting on the dampers and the actuators. In the 500 wing, we're still developing a work plan. The high school TV studio work has been ongoing, and it's nearing completion at the end of this month. And the work at the pool has a tentative start date at the end of August, and it'll take about a month to wrap up. At Linwood, regarding the chiller, the equipment's been ordered. It should be delivered mid to late summer with work to be started after the cooling season. And then the roof work has begun. We saw it last week when we were here, and it is continuing. And then finally at the elementary and ECC, the pre-K courtyard at the ECC, we're reaching out to vendors for work proposals. Same with Judd. We talked about the Livingston Park site and logistics study that was ongoing, and there was some discussion about possibly tapping into those that wooded area behind the school, and we found out it's wetlands, so we can't do much with it. But we're still waiting on the results of the traffic study there. And then the Parsons Playground, we're happy to report the playground's in full use. That concludes our report as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Ms. Keefe, anything for negotiations?
At this time, no, but we will be meeting tomorrow with the negotiating team.
Okay, thank you. I also want to formally introduce our 2 liaisons. So for NJSBA and Middlesex County School Boards, the liaison is Mr. Ali. Any updates tonight?
Yes, we do. We have a quick update, Madam President. So on March 6th, between 6:45 and 8:30 p.m., we will be having our Middlesex County SBA meeting, and it's going to be about teacher shortages. And we're going to have a surprise guest, well, not surprise anymore, but Senator Vin Gopal from Legislative District 11. He's going to be talking about teacher shortages, what him and his committee is planning on doing. He's the lead for the Senate Education Committee. He's the chair. So he's really going to be fielding questions and trying to really see what we need as a district and as a state to help with teacher shortages.
Wonderful. I think that meeting is virtual, so.
Yes, it will be.
Any board members that could attend, it's next Wednesday. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the Township Council liaison is Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter?
Sure. So on February 20th, Ms. Toth and I attended the council meeting. In terms of updates, there wasn't too much updates. One of our students was honored, as well as some community updates on events going on in town. Other than that, I spoke briefly and just introduced myself and opened up the line of communication, and look forward to engaging with them more.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. I think that concludes our reports for tonight. Thank you all very much. Mr. Carter, will you move on item 15?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrative, student, and committee reports.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All the reports are accepted.
Thank you. At this time, we will review our agenda for tonight's meeting. Per usual, we received a copy of the agenda days in advance. Any changes are in bold, so we will review our agenda at this time, starting on page 4 and 5. 6 and 7, page 8 and 9, (10) and 11, 12 and 13, page 14 and 15, 16 and 17, pages 18 and 19, 20 and 21, 22 and 23, pages 24, 25, and concluding on page 26. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to the public. We'll have a public session on agenda items only. If there's anything that the public would like to address the board on, this is on agenda items only. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name, sign in, and you'll be given 3 minutes. Seeing none, can I please have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This session is closed.
Thank you. Ms. Keefe, will you please move on item 19, consent agenda?
Yes, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to approve the following consent agenda items: personnel, curriculum, miscellaneous, finance items 1 through 3, and transportation.
Second.
I'm going to take a roll call here. Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Lagori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen.
Yes.
All the motions and resolutions are accepted.
Thank you. All right, we'll take it all the way to page 26. So at this time, we'll have a public session on any matter. If anyone would like to come up and address the board, we just ask that you come up, state your name, sign in, and you'll be given 3 minutes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Beth Pasner, president of the North Brunswick Township Education Association. Good to see you all again. I just wanted to thank the board for a wonderful presentation to honor our Governor Educators of the Year and also our ESPs of the Year. It is wonderful to see them being honored in this wonderful way, and I appreciate all the efforts, Ms. Kita, in that. I think one of my favorite days as being president was the day that Dr. Z at the board meeting said, Beth Pasner, you were right. That was a great idea. and I love that we still continue the tradition because our ESPs, are just as vital to the school system as our educators are as well. So I appreciate that wonderful presentation. Thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow night.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Pasner. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, could someone please move to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This session is closed.
Thank you. And can I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you all.